welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing tonight?
I am feeling adventurous.
Tonight we are going to talk about something that, if you're a listener to the program, you know is flat out not in my wheelhouse. So it doesn't mean it can't be in yours, so that's why we're bringing it to you tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about the Play Disney app, and we're going to focus on the new Ducktales World Showcase adventure.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, what is this new adventure? How did they bring something new to the park that we didn't know about?
Right.
It's really not so new. I'm going to call it reimagined, because the Ducktales World Showcase adventure replaces the Agent P game, which replaces the Kim Possible adventure. So this has been there in various forms for quite some time now. It's just been rethemed and tweaked in how you play it and what it is, but it's still the phenomenal digital scavenger hunt that I love.
Well, and to be perfectly fair, every intellectual property they've done this with totally works. It's a great use of those characters and those stories. So DuckTales makes sense. I'm excited to see it. I'm a huge DuckTales fan going back to the original series. So my kids like it. It makes total sense. So we don't even have to debate that piece of it. But I know that we wanted to talk a little bit about Play Disney, so in case folks don't know what it is. So tell us a little bit about Play Disney before we break down the DuckTales World Showcase adventure.
I'd love to. And I think a lot of people, when they hear this, they get a little confused because we're talking about an app that you're going to use on your vacation. And it's not the My Disney Experience app, Walt Disney World version. It's not the Disneyland version. This is a companion app. So going to World or Land, you're looking at downloading this second app, literally called Play Disney in the App Store. And I think, as Jeff said, it's not his wheelhouse, because he's going to hate everything I have to say tonight, except when I use the word DuckTales.
Well, I want you to try to sell me on it, because obviously all things Disney, I'm a big fan, but the big thing that I don't like being tethered to my phone when I'm on vacation. That's what this experience is. So this might change my mind as to why it's a good thing. So go ahead.
So as Jeff said, it is on your phone. It is an app on your phone. Yes, everybody can have their own Play Disney account. And I'll digress a minute and say, if you go to Galactic Star Cruiser, you will all need your own Play Disney app, because it has unique scavenger hunts within the Galactic Star Cruiser and games that continue to go interactive. But in the parks, you don't need multiple versions of the game. You could certainly have one, but the concern here is kind of twofold. We either have one as a family, and we'll talk about the games in a minute, and some of the games allow for multiple players, and then we're all kind of crowding around that small screen, or we all have our own version on our own device if you've got kids that are tweens and teens that have their own device, and then you constantly have people on devices. It's vacation. It's about together. It's why I loved the old Kim Possible. If you didn't play it because you're not that old, you used to pick up what they called a communicator, which was a really old style flip phone that was programmed for this game. And so, yes, you were on your phone, but it was kind of this special phone and part of the activity, and everybody gathered around this special communicator, and then you turned it back in. Now it's one more app on your phone. Play Disney app has way more to it than I even honestly realized till we were getting ready for the show, because I'm on my phone enough while I'm at Disney. I'm making reservations. I'm checking ride times. I'm playing around with my dining. I'm checking email. So I'm usually not playing a lot of games. I'll admit, I stand online and read in my Kindle app. Especially when I'm alone. It's a great way to pass time, and it lets me get reading in.
Sure.
But the Play Disney app, to give you an idea of how massive it is, it covers Walt Disney World, Disneyland at home, as well as the D23 convention. The Walt Disney World segment that they consider Walt Disney World parks, There are 113 achievements that you can earn, plus resort achievements, plus special achievements. And that doesn't include, I don't know why we don't think it's part of Walt Disney World, maybe because it's in a galaxy far away, but Galaxy's Edge has its own menu and its own achievements, and it has another 44. So I don't know. Some of them are quick. Some of them really aren't so quick. It can take you 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes to earn one achievement. 157 achievements at Walt Disney World is lots of phone time. Disneyland, obviously, we know that original park is much smaller. 57 badges you can earn, plus the special achievements. So there's trivia, there's games, there's things, interactive trivia, things that you have to find on rides. But we're going to really focus on one tonight.
And that would be the DuckTales World Showcase Adventure.
Correct. And that one is really unique because, again, if you did the old one, it's not going to be much different. But I encourage everybody to do at least one of these. So there are 8 different games that you can play. China, Japan, France, Germany, Mexico, Norway, United Kingdom, and the final World Showcase that covers everything.
Okay.
And you're going to press a button to get started. It's going to give you the beginning of a storyline about, what's happening, that the DuckTales need to go out and save the world in that specific country. So if you pick China, it's going to tell you, go to the entrance to the China Pavilion and then hit the button. And you're only going to be working in China to see the clues. Every game that you play, you're going to get 5 missions. And again, because there's a lot of people in the park, each country has between 10 and 15 missions. So you could play China 3 times. You could get the same mission all 3 times, but 4 different ones each time. Or you could get 2 of the same. The storyline really works in a variety of order, and they try to make sure that you're never looking for something at the same time anybody else is.
Just to give folks a little bit of a breakdown of what you're talking here, you begin the game, let's say it sends you to China, you're working as a family. There's little tasks to accomplish within China to play that specific game.
Correct. And you're going to pick, it's going to tell you right on your screen. If you go in, even sitting at home now listening, you can download Play Disney, go under Walt Disney World, scroll down to Epcot to the DuckTales World Showcase Adventure, and you'll see it says you've earned 0 of 8 badges, and they're all going to be black and white.
Right.
It's going to tell you it's locked right now when you're sitting at home, because it will not unlock an Epcot scavenger hunt unless you're in Epcot. But when you're in Epcot, you can press on any one of them, and you can actually press on them at home to see where each adventure is, whether you want to be the Sword Savior or the Idol Raider or the Jade Hero, and it'll tell you which country you're going to. So you can pick whatever country you want. I love these because I will readily admit that I don't spend enough time in the countries. And even as an adult doing these, it really brings you deep into the whole pavilion. That's the idea. Each clue is going to send you to something that you're going to be like, oh my God, I walked past this 12 times and never noticed it. A secret door, a little garden, different window displays, things that you walked past all the time and never noticed, and they're key for this game. And when you find the right thing, again, it's going to tell you to press the button on your phone. And if you are standing in the right spot, you're going to be within range, and you're going to set off something. Maybe you're going to make water bubble up the window. Maybe you're going to make a pagoda rise from the ground. One of the ones that I did had a wheel with all of the different Chinese New Year animals. And it asked you what your birthday was, and then it spun the wheel to end up on your birthday. I will say one of the really cool ones, and I don't ever remember them doing this in either of the old adventures, though I will say again, in order to do it all, you would have to do each adventure at least 3 times, maybe 4 or 5 to get them all. This time, I actually interacted with a human, which I know for some people is a real downer, but I thought I was misreading the clue because it sent me to the Kid Cot station and I had to say some magic words. And then the person at the Kid Cot station gave me some little bit of magic back. I don't want to spoil it.
Interesting.
Exactly what I received. But normally it's an interactive prop. One of my favorites that I love to do is Germany, because it almost always sends you into the cuckoo clock store and you can set off every cuckoo clock in the place in this game. For real fun, when you're getting ready to press the things, I'm always torn whether I want to look at what it's doing or, because I'm a people watcher, look around and see the reaction from people of what I've managed to set off.
Here's the reality. The adventures that you're talking about here, I'm assuming we're following our favorite characters here. We're following Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We're following Scrooge McDuck. We're following some of the characters from Ducktales. You're traveling all over these places, like you said, things that you don't normally even think to stop and look at. And it's using that as a way for you to stop and look at things. Now, you can do this individually. It sounds like you did this individually the last time you were there.
I did do it on my own.
Right. So you can do it individually, but this very much to me sounds like something you could do as a family. I'll use my family as the example. We are a family of 4. We have 2 adults and 2 children. It sounds like it's a very easy thing to manage to say, you got to interact this last time, you interact this time. Like, it doesn't sound like it's something that you need to be necessarily married to the phone to do. Although you need to do it to execute some sort of interaction.
It's kind of like getting in the elevator. I've never ridden an elevator with your kids, Jeff, but I'm going to assume that when you get in an elevator, your kids both yell, I get to push the button, and they throw each other against the wall. Am I close to what happens?
Yes, and last time we were there, we stayed at the Beach Club Villas where Mickey or Minnie spoke to us while we were in the elevator. So it was definitely that experience. Yes, you're correct.
So there is that element of that to this, the I get to push the button.
Sure.
But I will say, and maybe I just don't have my good, mission spyware on me. There were a couple of times, even though if you're kind of taking a little long on a mission, you've started it, you're looking for the clue, and it says walk towards the back and look for this door, and it's giving you a picture of a door, and then it'll say and above the door there's a sign, enter the number on the sign. And I will say there were 1 or 2 of these where I was like, man, I need a kid to spot something for me, because I'm looking, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go 1-3 and see what it does. And it's like, I don't think you're looking at the sign. And it puts the picture back up. Look again for this sign and enter the number you see. So I'm looking around. It definitely, just because you're not the one pushing the button, doesn't mean that you're not the one playing I Spy, because, as I said, some of it is really well hidden. You're definitely going to want to turn up your sound, because you're right, Jeff. The fun part is which of the nephews is sending you out on a mission. Each mission starts with a cute little photo screen. This one that I did in Germany was the enchanted timepiece of Gusseldorf. And then it says, mission assistance requested. Christmas, don't be late. And so it sends you very specifically, go to this store, go inside, find a tall nutcracker on the top shelf, and press OK. And again, if you're in that store, I took video, it just looks like a really cool display of nutcrackers.
Right.
But when I push that button, again, we don't want to ruin the display, but all of a sudden, something on that display opens. So you kind of get a little hidden message. It's just there for a couple of seconds, and then it closes to go back to that regular display. And again, it's going to ask you questions as you're going along. It wants to know if you're in the right spot before you hit the button. So sometimes it'll give you multiple choice questions. What's at the feet of the nutcracker? Do you see walnuts, hazelnuts, chocolates, or pretzels? And again, if I don't hit that right thing, I'm not going to have the opportunity for it to open.
Now, here's the question I have for you, because you mentioned that there are 8 games, 7 countries. How do you know you're finished? I mean, it sounds like the type of thing that they're all self-contained, right? So you don't have to go through China, Japan, France, Germany, Mexico, Norway, United Kingdom, and the World Showcase as a whole to finish necessarily the experience, right? Is each one of these self-contained? So
each one of these is self-contained, and when you finish, you will earn that badge in the Play Disney app.
Got it.
So your badge will turn from black and white to color, but you know you're finished because it's not just what I'm describing. It's not run and get these things. It's a story that gets you there. You know, they just, Dusseldorf was spotted over by the railroad, head to the trains and look for the train. Now you get there. When you get there, push the button, the train starts to go. And now it's going to talk to you again. Looks like he made it on a train out before you got here. Let's keep you on his trail. Rumor has it he loves nutcrackers and he's headed to find one. So it's walking you through this story, but the last piece, you win. And I think that's part of how they can make it as interactive as they do, but so diverse, so that you could get a clue as your first clue where I can get it as the last clue, because the wording that you're hearing goes along with the storyline that you have.
I don't hate it. I don't hate this use of the technology, because I think it still forces you to interact with certain things and to look at things that are other than your screen. My big thing that I don't like is being married to it. And so this is using it as a very helpful piece of technology to live within a story, which I think is quintessential Disney.
It is. And what I love about it too is it is entirely self-paced. So you do the first clue and somebody needs a bathroom break. Somebody needs a drink. Somebody walks past a shop that they never noticed and wants to go in. You can take a break. It doesn't matter. Somebody wants to sit down and rest for 5 minutes, and, one adult and one kid sits on the bench while the others do the next clue. You can really totally self-pace, and the best part about it, there's no line. You can do this over and over. You could honestly spend probably 6 or 8 hours in the World Showcase doing this and getting all these different clues. And, I enjoyed it. Once you start to play it, as you're walking through the World Showcase, you'll recognize, oh, that family over there is playing it. Right. And I found myself stopping to see what it would do, because those things that open and come up from the ground and bubble and send off whistles and all kinds of neat interactions are a lot of fun to see.
Well, we are coming to the end of today's program, so I guess the question I have for you is, what haven't we covered about this particular DuckTales World Showcase adventure?
So I don't know that this is specific to the DuckTales World Showcase adventure. However, I will give a huge shout out to fuel rods. And if you're not familiar with them, I will tell you why they are my lifesaver. And they probably won't like my level of endorsement for them here. Fuel rods is a recharger for your phone. And obviously, if you're spending a lot of time playing on your phone and taking photos of what you're doing, you're wearing down your battery. Fuel rods are by far the worst battery recharger I've ever bought. I have one that I travel with when I'm taking videos for us, because it has 4 iPhone batteries in it. But I swear to you, the thing weighs about 3 pounds. I love the fuel rod because it is super lightweight. You buy it once and you get a lifetime of free exchanges. So within the Disney parks and within the hotels, you will see fuel rod machines. Probably every theme park has anywhere from 8 to 15 exchange stations. And so even though it doesn't have a big battery, I like that it's not heavy. And so we constantly walk up to a machine, hit the swap button, throw our fuel rod in, and get a fresh one that's fully charged. we'll start doing that at like 11 o'clock in the morning. My phone is always the first one to die in our group. So I'll use the fuel rod, fill mine up. Next time we walk past the machine, I exchange it, give it to whoever in my family is next. Again, it's not a super huge charger, but it's lightweight, it's refillable. I've had a big conversation with the guy from Fuel Rod, and it's really interesting to me. If you're a little bit of a germaphobe, you may want to know, which surprised me, that the machines do not recharge the fuel rods. They actually come and collect them, take them off-site, sanitize, and recharge them. So you're always getting a fresh one, nothing that's been held by somebody else without it being sanitized in between. The one thing I will say is I'm going to put in the show notes a link to Amazon. If you can buy it in any of the fuel rod machines on property, it does come with all the different little charging cords you need. It's a pretty standard USB cord. But when you buy it on property, it's $30. If you buy it in advance on Amazon, they are anywhere from 30 to 50% off that price, and you still get those unlimited exchanges. So I always suggest buying it in advance because that's an extra Dole Whip or Mickey pretzel for you.
I'll take that. I'll take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
There you go. That is it.
Well, I thank you for taking the time to go down there and play around with this. The last time I saw it, it was probably Kim Possible, or it might have been Agent P, maybe the beginning of Agent P. But it's cool to see how the game has evolved and to see how the Ducktales intellectual property has made its way into it. Thanks for taking the time to go down and experience it, and thanks for sharing it with us tonight.
My pleasure. I loved playing just like the kids do.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share on your Facebook and Instagram for other Disney fans to enjoy. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.